Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
Hey guys, welcome to the Happy Healthy Life podcast.
Yeah,
that was a mouthful right there.
You are so well spoken, Dr. Rob.
I appreciate that. Thanks for noticing, and I appreciate and receive the compliment.
Absolutely.
There. Well, hello, you guys. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a great show today.
Absolutely.
We're talking about some information, some misinformation.
Yep.
Today is going to be our cruise the internet. Well, it's hard for me to get stuff out today.
Wow. Let's just do a reset here.
Today, we're going to be cruising the internet to be able to share with you guys a lot of information that's being given to you. Yep. We're going to talk about the information that is true, living a happy, healthy life.
Yeah. And I love the opportunity to take some shots at the system that really doesn't want us to be vibrant and healthy, that really is depending on us to keep sticking our head in the sand, not taking responsibility for our health and blaming our age, genetics, or whatever excuse we can come up with. So we're going to have fun with this today, and I cannot wait to dive in. However,
speaking of fun,
before we get into the serious stuff and the fun stuff in that regard, you really creeped me out today, and I don't want to gloss over it because it's affecting me today. It's really a serious conversation that I don't know I feel comfortable having in a public forum.
Is it really? So here's what he's talking about. So we were listening to a podcast with it's called the Calm Down Podcast with Aaron Andrews and Carissa Thompson, who are sports broadcasters, and it's actually really funny. And they're great to listen to. You should check it out. But they are all over the place. And Aaron Andrews was talking about how now she's on this new broadcast team with Fox Sports. They have these text streams, and on the text streams, there'll be everybody that they're going to be working with over the course of that weekend are on the text stream. And she was texting one of her colleagues, and when she was texting the colleague, she put like smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, and accidentally hit another emoji, and it was a heart emoji.
And granted, so she's married, right? And obviously it's not an appropriate text to send in a work feed.
Exactly.
To a room full of men.
So she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I just sent a heart over to him. And she's like, it was the most awkward thing ever. Yeah. So she texted him back immediately, let him know, hey, I did that by accident. And then she gets into their pregame meeting for that week, and he's not there yet, the guy that she sent the text message to.
Right.
And she's telling all of her colleagues about what she had just done, how awkward it is. So he walks into the meeting and he's like, what are you guys talking about? And she's like, oh, I was just telling him how awkward that text message is. And she's just feeling just like super like embarrassed about it. And then they're flying to wherever their game was for that week. And one of our other colleagues who was in the room listening to what had happened was sitting behind her, sends her a text message in the airplane. As he's sitting behind her, and in that text message, he sends her a kissy face emoji in the middle of his heart, or in the middle of his happy faces.
Right.
And he did it on purpose.
Yeah. It was like happy face, kiss emoji. So anyway,
so today, so I'm setting him. So we're preparing for the podcast, and I'm like, all right, let's meet to be able to go over what it is that we're going to talk about. And as I sent that, I said, here, let's meet here. Great. And then I accidentally send a kissy heart emoji to him, like, shit, I just did it to him. And completely meant to hit the smiley face emoji.
Allegedly.
Oh, I did. That's not allegedly.
Thank God.
And anyway, so I'm like, shit, now I did it.
It was cracking me up just coming off this previous podcast we listened to in the conversation. I'm like, that sorry sucker sending me a kiss emoji this morning. I do love you, but not like that.
Yeah, so I thought it'd be pretty.
That's pretty good. All right, let's dive in, man. Let's go right into this. Yep.
So as we're looking through the internet, here's stuff that's out there when it comes to, one of the things that we always talk about is weight loss. We talk it through, we talk about metabolism and what metabolism is. And here's what it says whenever you go through the internet and you ask right now, okay, what's the latest news when it comes to metabolism or weight loss? the number one article that was out there today was they're talking about this new generation in weight loss medication, right? Because all the old weight loss medications got a very bad rap, which they should have, like the fen, all those different drugs, all the crazy side effects that they had, how they're manipulating the body into not being hungry. And these people were losing weight, but having all these crazy side effects. So now there's a new generation of drug. The new generation of drug right now are called GLP drugs, which stands for glucagon-like peptides. So what glucagon does in the body is it helps the body to be able to regulate your hormones to get your body burning fat for fuel, keep your appetite suppressed based on what's happening inside your body. It's a great hormone. But now what they're doing is they're using this, they say new generation of medication, but it's not a new generation at all. What these drugs are, they've already been out there and used for type 2 diabetes. So if you've ever been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, they're going to give you one of these type of drugs right here, because what it does is it tells the pancreas to secrete insulin in order to be able to lower the blood sugar inside the body. They're saying they're new generations of drugs because they already seen all the studies that links obesity or weight gain directly to type 2 diabetes.
Dude, and this is what's just insane to me. We already know that there already is a hormone called glucagon that your body makes for free with zero side effects. Or listen, let's be honest about this. Is there really such thing as a side effect? There's cause and there's effect. Whatever the cause was and the effect that happens from that, there isn't another category for a side effect. It got the intended results. Let's cut the side effect stuff out right now. That is the effect. But glucagon, guess what its role is to do? When you eat, you secrete insulin, right? Mm-hmm. Blood sugar goes up, insulin secretes. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a normal human phenomenon. However, over the next 2 to 3 hours, as your body's digesting the food, insulin's coming back down to baseline. At that point, the body stimulates the release of glucagon because glucagon tells the liver to release glucose into the bloodstream. That's your snack. It's not eating a protein bar or a bite of a cookie or having to eat something every 2 to 3 hours. Glucagon is your snack. Here's the problem, though. They're manipulating it with that drug because now if the body's releasing more sugar into the bloodstream, well, it's telling the body now to crank out more insulin. So it's really tricking the body synthetically, which is never even addressing the root cause of what a diabetic person's going through, which is they can't even take up the freaking sugar because they're insulin resistant. So not to get too deep with this, but my God, what a scam of all scams. These are the most evil people on planet Earth. When half of America right now is diabetic, their strategies the last 50 years, I don't know. It's working beautifully. It's working for them because they have no interest in reversing not only obesity, but any chronic illness, because how they make money, Dr. Rob, is people taking pills and drugs for the rest of their life. Wake up, everybody.
Absolutely. Now, listen to this. Here's what I thought was really interesting, and anybody can look this up, but the side effects, right? So like you said, there are only effects.
You got it.
Side effect. They're all effects, right? And so, yeah. So I may do what they're saying.
Yes.
However, here's other things that it's doing. It is literally destroying the gut. Okay. Which is why the side effects are nausea, diarrhea.
Sounds great.
And this is the one that's confusing to me, and constipation. So how do you have diarrhea and constipation at the same time?
Yeah, it's called IBS, which is another diagnosis that they have drugs for that as well.
Absolutely. So guess what? You get to be able to take more drugs. So that's crazy right there. Okay. So that's the first article. Now the second article, okay, check this out.
I don't know if I can handle it. You've already got me pretty fired up right now. We're going deeper. Let's go.
Here it is. It says, for all you guys that are like, hey, the solution is exercise. Well, it says, what are now the magic number of steps to keep weight off? Historically, it had been 8,200 to 10,000 steps per day,
right,
in order to be able to maintain a healthy weight. Not so any longer. Okay. Now it's 11,000 steps per day is the recommended amount of steps. So all you guys that have the Fitbits, the watches, you better reset them, right? So 11,000, shit, you got to walk more. Well, no shit do you have to exercise to be able to not maintain a healthy weight, you should be exercising anyway to be able to maintain your health, because it's a good thing to do. Cardiovascular, you're getting your blood circulating, you're getting oxygen to the cells inside your body.
Yeah, ask your doctor if getting off your ass is right for you.
I think it could be.
Right.
Yeah. We already know that, right?
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. If you guys don't know this already, the reason that it was 10,000 steps per day is because 10,000 times 7 days in a week equals 70,000 steps, which was what was recommended to be able to lose 1 pound of body fat. Okay. Because that helps you to be able to, quote, burn 3,500 calories only if you do have a healthy metabolism, which you can go back and listen to other episodes, past episodes, where we talk about how to have a healthier metabolism. 3,500 calories are burned only if you're not putting more calories into the system. So that's assuming that you didn't have any calories going in. So now that's 11,000 steps. So here's what so
it's a 7-day fast at 11,000 steps per day for 1 week to lose 1 pound of body fat, on top of taking synthetic glucagon peptides, which, by the way, what happens to the body's normal release of glucagon when you start synthetically dosing it into somebody over a period of weeks, months, and years?
It kills it, right?
And they don't even know. They have no freaking clue what this is doing to humanity metabolically. We already know what less than 12% of America is even metabolically healthy right now. The system is doing a horrible job of teaching us how to turn this around. Apparently, they have no interest in helping anybody turn this around, because if they did, everybody should be seeing changes and getting benefits, yet all these diseases are getting worse. And the recommendation is this unrealistic exercise suggestion. Who's going to go actually walk 11,000 steps a day? You're just going, I don't have time for that, or it's defeating. So it goes right back to the system. Okay, now I can't do that. Please help me. Oral therapy, which is drugs for the rest of your life.
Right. And so here's what's really happened over the last couple of years with COVID is you stick people inside their house, not exercising. You tell them that they cannot leave the house, right? Or they'll get this deadly disease.
Yep.
So you can't leave the house. You're creating unhealthy habits. They're already not exercising. And now you're telling somebody to come out of that and do 11,000 steps.
Yeah.
They already knew that they weren't going to do it to begin with. So guess what the other alternative is? Number one, the first article that we talked about is take the diabetes drugs, right? Now they got you exactly where they want you. They're suppressing literally your freaking mind, right? So that's exactly what they want. They want to get your mind.
Yeah, don't get it twisted, man. That lockdown was super strategic. It wasn't about some virus, guys. I'm telling you, the system knows when you have a group of individuals that are overweight, depressed, no energy, docile, who feel like there's nothing that they can do. Those are the prime candidates for drug therapy for the rest of your life. There's a reason why you and I haven't been on medication for God knows how long, because we don't end up in a system where we turn our health over to a system and let them be in control of our future, of our destination, and where we're headed. Don't turn your health over to an insurance company, a pharmaceutical company, a medical doctor, or God, for any doctor for that matter. You are your best doctor. You're your best advocate. And so this is why we do this podcast.
Totally.
We got to wake you up.
It's because the right thing to do is why we
It is the right thing to do.
Absolutely. All right. So next article. Okay. So this is number 3 down on the list as I was searching. It says, what is the best long-term strategy for weight loss? Okay.
Wow, this ought to be good.
Exercise, diet.
The first two are beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
So what would you guess was the answer?
Well, I know what it is. It was going to be exercise.
Right. And why would it be exercise? Because of what it is that we just talked about. They know that people aren't going to do that.
No.
And as you read further in the article, what it's saying is the whole article wasn't an exercise article. Okay. 90% of the article was about type 2 diabetes.
Right.
So it's type 2 diabetes and obesity. The best thing to do is exercise, because they know that you're not going to do it. And because they know that you've gotten yourself lazier over the last 2 years. Well, maybe not the people that listen to the podcast.
Maybe not our group, but maybe some, I don't know.
I know. This is why you got to share this information with people, and why it's so important, because their eyes need to be opened up to clearly see that you can overcome these things without the drugs, the pharmaceuticals, all these things that are dumbing you down and making you even lazier, because all this article was really doing is pointing people back to
drug medication. They didn't talk about eating quality food.
Nope.
They didn't talk about steering away from needless, useless, completely worthless synthetic chemicals, the drug industry. They threw it out there in the exercise world. And here's the thing, if you've noticed, because right now, obviously, we're in a huge epidemic of obesity and people being overweight. Over 70% of Americans are overweight. It's impacting our kids the most. And if you've noticed, all these campaigns centered around helping create healthier kids is all exercise based. Now, listen, exercise is great. You and I growing up, we lived outside. We didn't sit in front of a TV, no doubt about it. But they don't ever talk about the food, and they never ever take shots or pick apart the drug industry. Those are protected. Big food, big drug. They are the ones that are in charge of all this propaganda, and they're leading the false narrative. The exercise component is the one thing they throw out there, but they won't take responsibility for anything else. And if you think about it, just by nature, eating real food is how we've evolved over these thousands of years. Eating healthy, nutritious food keeps your body going strong, and it gives you what you need. At what point was ever taking drugs for everything that you have the answer or the primary goal for any civilization? Not regardless of what era you grew up in, but how is it now that everybody's on medication? And one of our good friends, he's a leading pharmacist. He's a doctor of pharmacy. He said that every single drug in America, Rob, if you remember this conversation, he says has at least 10 different effects on the body. So if you're taking one drug, there's 10 effects on the body. So a lot of times you think I'm taking this blood pressure drug or this diabetic drug, and it just zeroes into my body and focuses on one thing. It's not true. He said, if you take two medications, how many effects do you think are now on the body?
Oh, it's compounded. It multiplies tremendously. It's not 20.
You would think it's 20. It's not. It's 1 + 1 = 3. It's what you said. It's compound interest. So now 2 drugs is 100 effects on your body. 3 drugs is 1,000. 4 drugs, 10,000. 5 drugs, 100,000. Check this out. If you're on 6 drugs or more, that's 1 million different effects on your body. The average American has taken 5 prescription medications. So you think about metabolically how they're destroying our country, destroying our children, not offering any real solutions because they want you to put all your faith and trust in a system that generates massive amounts of money and cash flow and trillions of dollars with you depending on going to your doctor, getting a diagnosis, and taking drugs for the rest of your life.
Yes. So with that being said, here's something that's super crazy when you're talking about kids and the way they're being raised, and having 3 kids myself, you see it now more than ever before. And we were having a conversation as we were having dinner with a waiter. And we asked this waiter, because this waiter was not from the area. He was actually from Massachusetts.
Oh, the guy.
And I thought it was interesting that he did not have a Boston accent, because he's from Boston, right? He actually grew up in Martha's Vineyard. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I was like, why don't you have an accent? He's like, oh, I don't have an accent because I was raised online. I'm like, what did he just say? What do you mean you were raised
I couldn't believe what I heard.
Online? Yeah. He goes, well, because I was raised sitting in front of a computer, which is why I moved here, because I was a member of like some kind of group chat, and I don't even know how that works. Some group chat that told him that down here in Texas is a better place to live. So he was raised by a computer. That's what's teaching us. So if you do any computer searches anymore online for how to get healthy, all roads always lead down the pharmaceutical road. So the question that you just asked, at what point was it that we started turning to pharmaceuticals or drugs? Here's the point when that happened, when people saw that there were billions and billions and billions of dollars to be had by doing that. So when you have millions and millions of side effects, guess what? There's now millions of drugs to be able to combat those side effects. So in that type of a system that wants to control everybody, financially, economically speaking, it really is pretty brilliant on that side for them to do that. So what that means is They don't want you healthy. There's no
yeah.
money in you being healthy.
No,
That's the reality.
And we've seen over the last several years since all the lockdowns that they've completely scrubbed the internet.
Yes.
You used to could go in there and actually Google real information, real studies, really things that weren't always driven and funded by the pharmaceutical industry. Now you can't even find almost anything on the first 15, 20, 30 pages of any Google search. They scrubbed it and they've replaced it with all completely pharmaceutically driven narratives that don't teach anybody how to take charge of their health. And they want to keep teaching you these same lies. So you keep believing it. If you keep hearing something over and over and over again, even if it's not true, you start to believe it. And here's what you can believe right now. There is nobody coming to save any of us right now. The system's making money hand over fist. They don't want you listening to a podcast like this. They don't want you turning your health around. They really want you sick, defeated, depressed, overweight, on tons of medications, and doing exactly what you're told. So we're not going to do that any longer if you're going to be a part of the Happy Healthy Life family, because one of the best things you can do, and this is my favorite quotes from one of our mentors, Andy Frisella, which is, personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. Invest in yourself, take charge of your health, your money, your finances. Think for yourself, ask the right questions, become your own person. Don't follow the trend of what's being told to us through the media, through the internet, through the drug companies. Remember, all the burden of proof is on the for-profit people. We're not the for-profit people. They're telling you that if you get off medication, that's going to benefit us. Put the burden of proof back on who it is, hold them accountable, and get yourself out of the system. And here's the truth, and here's the reality, Dr. Rob, is the one thing they will not talk about is at the core of this whole thing is how to turn your metabolism around, because diabetes is a metabolic condition that can be completely reversed in most cases, which is tied to obesity and heart disease and all other chronic illness. But they don't want you asking those questions, because if you start asking the right questions, unfortunately or fortunately, you're going to start getting better answers.
Absolutely. So that right there is the first solution, is ask better questions. Next week, we're unfortunately out of time. However, next week, we're going to talk about how to ask the right questions, what questions you need to be asking in order to be able to get yourself out of that system and get yourself into a true healthcare system that means that your body is doing what it needs to do so you can live the happy, healthy life. So with that being said, you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for listening. Like it, share it, rate it, review it. And you know what? Tell your friends about the Happy Healthy Life.
Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at The Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.